And just like that, we're back from our vacation. Totally. It has been
Sure
2
we are.
weeks. It has been two. We're actually recording this before we go on the vacation, but still, it has been technically 2 weeks since we watched the last episode of Doctor Who, which was The Unicorn and the Wasp. What was that one about?
Well, it was literally an Agatha Christie mystery. People invited to an old manor house, and somebody shows up dead. And the Doctor and Donna and Miss Christie, or Ms. Christie, she was separated from her husband at this point. Try to find out what's going on. Apparently there's some form of alien who is a Vespiform. Anyway, isn't literally a wasp. And he has somehow conceived a child with a human being, and there's all sorts of things going on there. The unicorn actually was kind of a red herring, because that was simply a jewel thief who had come to rob the place. But anyway, they managed to get the wasp to drown itself, and they somehow, what did they do to get Miss Christie to forget what she had done for 10 days?
I think that was just because she was like kind of linked to the Vespiform when she took the Firestone. All these stupid things. But yeah, because she was like linked to the Vespiform, and it let go of her, and that caused her to forget everything that had happened. So
very interesting. And again, I think my major objection to it was, instead of having an actual wasp, it should have been more of a humanoid wasp form. That would have made way more sense to me.
yeah.
Not that wasps and humans make much sense, but you know.
Oh yeah. So, well, today we are on a two-parter.
Oh joy, we haven't done one of those in a while.
Oh yeah. I mean, we literally did that like 2 weeks ago.
Not two in one day, though.
Not two in one day. We haven't done that pretty much ever for modern Doctor Who. But yeah, we are doing both parts of this two-parter. This is a highly acclaimed two-parter within this season, and this is quite honestly one of the big highlights of this season. I say that the rest of the season is also a big highlight of this season. So yeah, we are doing the two-parter Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead. I don't know if there's anything else to really say before we get into it.
No, I mean, the most famous library I mentioned last week is the Library of Alexandria, other than the Library of Congress, and I'm assuming it doesn't take place in either one of those.
No. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you got nothing else,
I got nothing.
Then we don't need to make this a super long intro where I ramble on about something that doesn't matter.
Which usually precedes him rambling on for about 10 minutes. Just like now.
So, before I do that, let's go ahead and jump right into these episodes of Doctor Who.
Close your eyes and tell me what you see.
That's definitely not
The
Alexandria.
library.
Eh.
Doesn't look much like a library either. No.
Open your eyes again. Are you back there?
Yes.
The same part?
No, it's always different. The library goes on forever.
Beautiful
Do you
Oculus
move
there
around?
at the top.
Books. People never really stop loving books.
That's a great segue from the
51st
Agatha Christie
century.
episode.
It's like a city.
It's a world. Literally, a world. The whole core of the planet is the index computer. Biggest hard drive ever. And up here, every book ever written. Whole continents of Jeffrey Archer, Bridget Jones,
Oh, please.
Monty Python's Big Red Book.
Oh, Monty
Brand new
Python.
editions, specially printed. It's silent.
The library.
Planet. The whole planet.
Maybe it's a Sunday.
No, I never land on Sundays. Sundays are boring.
Welcome. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder where they filmed this.
Well,
Please enjoy the library and respect the personal access codes of all your fellow readers, regardless of species or hygiene taboo.
That face, it looks real.
Message follows. Count the shadows. For God's sake, remember, if you want to live, count the shadows. Message ends.
Donna,
Yeah.
stay out of the shadows.
Well, what's in the shadows?
I don't know. You just go back in the TARDIS. You forget the library. Everything's digital now anyway.
Does this thing even cause it's wood? What it doesn't do wood! Hang on. We vibrate the molecules, slide the binding brick, and shuttle line the interface. Oh, get out of the way!
Oh, good job.
Nice door skills, Donna.
Yeah, well, you know, boyfriends, sometimes you need the element of surprise. What was that? Are we safe here?
Of course we're safe. It's a little shop.
Little shop of horrors.
It's a real face.
It's been actualized individually for you from the many facial aspects saved to our extensive flesh banks. Please, enjoy.
It shows me a dead face it thought I'd like. That statue's got a real dead person's face on it.
It's the 51st century. That's basically like donating a park bench.
It's donating a face.
Pop your helmets, everyone. We got breathers.
How do you know they're not androids?
Because I've dated androids. They're rubbish.
Who is this? Did you say expedition?
My expedition. I funded it.
Oh, you're not, are you? Tell me you're not archaeologists.
You've got a problem with archaeologists?
I'm a time traveller. I point and laugh at archaeologists.
Professor River Song, archaeologist.
River Song, lovely name. As you're leaving, and you're leaving now, you need to set up a quarantine bit. Find a nice bright spot and just stand. If you understand me, look very, very scared.
You're not doing it.
It's Vashta Narada.
What's Vashta Narada?
It's what's in the dark. It's what's always in the dark.
Why am I the only one wearing my helmet?
I don't fancy you.
Probably I can help you.
Pretty boy, with me, I said.
Oh, I'm pretty boy.
Oh, that came out a bit quick.
Pretty?
I can't remember her,
Thanks.
the actress's name, but she used to be on ER here in the United States.
Oh, that was you.
Okay, should we do diaries then? Where are we this time? Going by your face, I'd say it's early days for you, yeah? So, Crash of the Byzantium, have we done that yet? Obviously ringing no bells. Your eyes. You're younger than I've ever seen you.
You've seen me before then.
Doctor, please tell me you know who I am.
Who are you?
I just rerouted the interface.
What happened? Who was that?
British cartoons are terrifying.
So is she the library core?
You know, I've realized in the past 10 minutes, I can't really say anything in this episode.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to see inside the book. It's against the rules.
What rules?
Your rules.
So I'm getting the feeling that she is from Gallifrey.
Did you do that?
The books have rebelled.
My dad said I'd the IQ of plankton and I was pleased.
See, that's funny.
No, I really was pleased.
This might be important, actually.
In a moment.
Yeah, don't go walking off.
This is a daytime strike that came with a message.
How come 4,022 people have been saved if there were no survivors?
That's what we're here to find out.
So many people for an entire planet with books on it.
Only bodies.
This is something those early companions like Susan would have done.
Yeah. Yeah, so be thankful we have Donna.
She's dead.
Yeah. Help her.
Hello? Is that the nice woman? What I said before about being stupid. Don't tell the others, they'll only laugh.
Of course I won't. Of course I won't tell them.
Don't tell the others, they'll only laugh.
I won't tell them. I said I won't.
Don't tell the others, they'll only laugh.
I'm not going to tell them.
Don't tell the others, they'll only
She's
laugh.
looping now, the pattern's degrading.
That was horrible. That was the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
It's just a freak of technology. Whatever killed her. I'd like a word with that.
I'll introduce you.
Fun times in the library, eh?
The shadows are moving again. Those people are depending on you. Only you can save them. Only you.
Thanks, Mr. Therapist.
So, what was that movie, Guardians of something? It's an animated film with the Boogeyman and Jack.
Rise of the Guardians.
Rise of the Guardians. This reminds me of that.
Yeah.
I do know the Doctor. But in the future. His personal future.
So why don't you know me? Where am I in the future?
Okay, got a line.
Let's not think about that one.
I've never seen an infestation on this scale. All this aggression.
What do you mean most planets? Not Earth.
Yeah. There are a billion other worlds. Where there's meat that's vast in Arana.
Good to know.
Dust in sunbeams.
If they were on Earth, we'd know.
Nah. Normally they live on roadkill. Sometimes people go missing. Not everyone comes back out of the dark. There's an index point. There must be an exit teleport somewhere.
Don't look at me, I haven't memorized the schematics.
Doctor, the little shop, they always make you go to the little shop on the way out so they can sell you stuff.
That's a good point.
100%. Pass it on.
Gotcha.
What's that?
It's a screwdriver.
Sonic.
Eh.
Yeah, I know. Snap.
Yeah. You know, at some point maybe I should buy Riversong Sonic Screwdriver. See?
That can't be good.
Safe and sound in the TARDIS.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
Doctor, don't.
Dave, can you hear me?
Hey, who turned out the lights? Who turned out the lights?
Duck!
Hey, just like Jack.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
Run!
Put the wall back.
Donna Noble has been saved. Donna Noble has left the library.
Oh, that's just terrifying.
Donna Noble has been saved.
How can it be Donna?
Donna Noble has been saved.
Hey, who turned out the
Donna
lights?
Noble has left the library. Donna
Save
Noble
as JPEG.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
Donna Noble has left the library.
Doctor, what are we gonna do?
Hey,
It's
who
more of a
turned out the
PNG.
lights?
Donna
This has
Noble
got
has
around the
left
face.
the library. Donna Noble has been saved.
Alrighty.
Yes, I would hate to wait a week to watch that.
2 weeks even
Yeah.
for us, but so man, how do we do this anymore? I forgot how we talk between episodes.
First of all, taking something as safe and simple as a library and turning it into one of the creepiest things we've seen in a long while. That's brilliant. Again, Moffat, great writer, obviously. And again, just from the clues, I'm picking up that somehow or other River Song is another Time Lord. But the Face of Bo said he was not alone. He didn't say there is another like Yoda did. So we assume the Master was the only one. But obviously she has somehow survived. We don't know exactly how. Theoretically, the 5th Doctor survived, or at least came back in Time Crash, so we're not exactly sure how that happened. So, despite the fact that we've been told that all of the Time Lords were gone, he was the last one, he is not the last one. And there are obviously, over the next couple of seasons, we're going to see other Time Lords coming in. So, that's nice. The Lux family, is that who it is?
Something like that, yeah.
Created the library. Again, I would have liked a little more backstory on how and or why that happened. You know, why do you make a planetary library? I do like the idea, though, of the Vashta Nerada.
Yeah.
Again, very similar to that creepy Rise of the Guardians, where, you know, you've got the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, but then you've got, and Jack Frost, but then you've got the Boogeyman. I can't remember what else they called him, but he had the nightmares, the terrifying horses, and that's what the Vashta Nerada seems to be. The Doctor said they're on every planet, so they're not as prevalent on Earth, probably because, you know, half of our planet is in sunlight all the time.
I mean, it's a thing of, he says there are smaller sort of clumps of Vashta Nerada on every planet, basically. And, you know, when sometimes you hear about, you know, someone went missing or something, like, it's entirely possible it could be the Vashta Nerada. If anything, I'm going to say it also sounds like a Torchwood episode. And now that I think about it, I wish that was a Torchwood episode, because that could be very interesting. But specifically, something is wrong on this planet, because there is enough of the Vashta Nerada that it's so dense, and they're very aggressive, and they seem to be what destroyed the planet. So, although it said 4,022 people were saved, but there were no survivors.
Now, again, having seen the 50th anniversary Day of the Doctor, we know that, for example, the Doctor put the entire planet into the alternate universe bubble, if I recall correctly, something like that. And the fact that they keep talking about all this computer technology, and Donna has been saved, so I'm assuming what has happened is she's literally in somebody's flash drive or in hard drive somewhere. Now, again, don't know if they're able to print her out again. I'm sure they'll find some way to do that, since I don't think this would be the end of her tenure, but this is coming up to the end of the season, isn't it?
We're getting there. We've got, including the next episode we're going to watch today, we've got 5 more episodes. Right. So.
Oh, and the other thing, and this is just totally random, the name Vashta Nerada sounds vaguely Hindu. You know, so I don't know, or Buddhist or something. It sounds like something we might have heard in, forgive me for saying the word, Kinda. Yeah. Since also wasn't the Kinda and the snake and the Mara?
The Mara.
Yeah, wasn't that essentially this kind of villain?
Kind of, because that was more of just like a demon possessing people, whereas these are just sort of invisible piranhas, as they're described, that can just tear through flesh, basically. But this one is a bit of a slower start. I mean, it sort of builds on the creepy atmosphere. I think this one definitely is on par. I mean, probably better, but on par with The Empty Child two-parter, which Moffat also wrote. So it's definitely this where, and you'll see a little bit of this later on during his actual era as showrunner, but he tends to be able to do like creepy horror settings really, really well. So better than any of the other writers for Doctor Who. But going into the next episode, we have the mysteries of what happened to Donna, why are there so many Vashta Nerada on the library planet? And then pretty much the biggest mystery being who is River Song. So yeah. You got anything else before we move on to it?
No, I'm ready to see the second half.
All right. Let me attempt to go back. Menu. Ah! Did it.
If you all can hear the noise in the background, that's probably neighbors or my oldest son, his brother, mowing the lawn. It has been raining practically nonstop for the last 2 weeks here. And of course, the grass and the trees and everything else have grown incredibly high. And although it has stopped raining for this morning, it's supposed to rain again tomorrow night. So everybody's taking advantage of mowing the lawn. So again, if you can hear that droning in the background, that's what you're hearing.
It has been a surprisingly mild summer so far. I mean, technically, I guess it's not even summer yet. It's still spring, but normally I feel like it'd be really hot by now. So
it did get up to 90 degrees briefly. That's Fahrenheit, not Celsius.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, but again, that was. It's usually at least that, earlier in May, and we're up into the hundreds in June, July, and August.
Well, yeah. So.
Hey, who turned out the lights? Hey, who turned out the lights?
I like that it's like the least threatening thing he could be saying as he approaches them.
Oh, it's Downton Abbey. And the Mystery Machine.
Should we go down to the river?
You said river, and suddenly we're feeding ducks.
This guy's got the power of video editing.
Gorgeous, and can't speak a word. What am I going to do with you?
Welcome home, Mrs. McAvoy.
Right.
It.
That's
Stop
the
it
second
now. We've got a visitor.
husband that Donna's had.
You've done so much.
Oh, the signal's definitely coming from the moon. I'm blocking it, but it's trying to break through.
Oops. Sorry. This is Angelo's rhubarb surprise.
It happens
Will
all the
I
time.
never learn.
The doctor. I saw the doctor.
Yes, you did, Donna. And then you forgot.
Dr. Moon.
He doesn't act like he trusts you. Yeah, there's a tiny problem. He hasn't met me yet.
Oh, well, that's reassuring.
There are 5 people in this room still alive. Focus on that. Dear God, your hard work, young.
Yeah, who are you? Oh, for heaven's sake! Look at the pair of you. We're all gonna die right here, and you're just squabbling like an old married couple.
Oops.
Are we good? Doctor, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Secret of the Universe right there, apparently. I think they made a movie about that with Bill Murray.
Now, what's interesting about my screwdriver? Very hard to interfere with. Practically nothing strong enough. Well, some hairdryers, but I'm working on that. So, there is a very...
Someone somewhere in this library is alive and communicating with the moon. Or possibly alive and drying their hair. No?
That's not ominous at all.
We hatched here.
You hatch from trees, from spores in trees.
These are our forests.
You're nowhere near a forest. Look around you.
These are our forests.
You're not in a forest. You're in a library. There are no trees in a... library.
You should go. Doctor!
Books. You came in the books.
This is secretly a Save the Trees episode.
A million books. Hatching shadows.
We should go. Doctor!
Oh, Dave. Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry.
Hey, who turned out the lights? We should go. Doctor!
Think about me, I'm stupid. I talk too much. Always rabbiting on. This doc doesn't stop for anything. Want to know the only reason I'm still alive? Always stay near the door.
Good job. Is that what we look like?
I suggested we look at your children. Look at all of them, really look. They're not real. Do you see it now? They're all the same. All the children of this world, the same boy and the same girl, over and over again.
Yeah, AI has not advanced that much.
What are you doing? Why are you wearing that veil?
I've seen whole armies turn and run away, and he'd just swagger off back to his TARDIS and open the doors with a snap of his fingers. The Doctor in the TARDIS. Next stop everywhere.
Spoilers. Nobody can open a TARDIS by snapping their fingers. Doesn't work like that.
It does for the Doctor.
I am the Doctor.
Yeah, someday.
Someday. This is the 10th one.
Nice other day.
See? There it is, right there. 100 years ago, massive power surge, all the teleports going at once. Soon as the Vashta Nerada hit their hatching cycle, they attack. Someone hits the alarm. The computer tries to teleport everyone out.
He tried to teleport 4,022 people.
Succeeded, he pulled them all out, but then what? Nowhere to send them. Nowhere safe, no library. Vashta Nerada growing in every shadow. 4,022 people, all beamed up, nowhere to go. They're stuck in the system, waiting to be sent, like emails. What's a computer to do?
I was just a data ghost caught in the Wi-Fi and automatically uploaded. And it made you clever. We're only strings of numbers in here. I think a decimal point may have shifted in my IQ. But my face...
Shut up! Daddy! No! Daddy!
This is why you never give kids powers. It's terrible.
But Mummy, sometimes when you're not here, it's like we're not here. Even when you close your eyes, we just stop.
Well, Mummy promises to never close our eyes again.
It's such a simple effect. It really works.
I can't wake it up, I'm trying.
It doesn't like any of these amazing toys.
She was dying. So we built her a library and put her living mind inside. With a moon to watch over her. And all of human history to pass the time. Any era to live in, any book to read. She loved books more than anything.
That's why they expedited printing new books for her.
She saved everyone in the library. Folded them into her dreams and kept them safe.
Then why didn't she tell us?
Because she's forgotten.
Don't play games with me. You just killed someone I liked, and it's not a safe place to stand. I'm the Doctor, and you're in the biggest library in the universe. Look me up.
You make a compelling argument.
You have one day.
I'm sorry, she's been dead a while now. I told you to go!
Lux can manage without me. But you can't.
Oh.
Auto-destruct in 2 minutes.
Oh, no, come on, what are you doing? That's my job!
Oh, and I'm not allowed to have a career, I suppose.
Why am I handcuffed? Would you even have handcuffs?
Spoilers.
River, please, no.
Funny thing is, this means you've always known how I was going to die. All the time we've been together, you knew I was coming here. The last time I saw you, the real you, the future you, I mean, you turned up on my doorstep with a new haircut and a suit. You took me to Darillium to see the Singing Towers. It's okay. It's okay. It's not over for you. You'll see me again. You've got all of that to come. You and me. Time and space. You watch us run.
River, you know my name.
Auto-destruct in
You whispered my name in my ear.
9, 3,
Spoilers.
2, 1.
You're all back! He did it! You're all back! Look at you!
He's been missing 100 years.
I made up the perfect man. Gorgeous, adores me, and hardly able to speak a word. What's that say about me?
Everything. Sorry, did I say everything? I meant to say nothing. I was aiming for nothing. I accidentally said everything.
Yeah.
They're right in the middle.
Come on.
Dang it.
Why would I give her my screwdriver? Why would I do that? Thing is, future me had years to think about it. All those years to think of a way to save her. And what he did was give her a screwdriver. Why would I do that? Oh, look at that. I'm very good.
What have you done?
Saved her.
I'm going in like Superman.
That man, that impossible man. He just can't give in. Oh.
All those years in time and space, he never thought
Now
he could do
and
that.
then, every once in a very long while. Every day in a million days when the wind stands fair and the doctor comes to call. Everybody lives.
Also, the name of an episode in The Ninth Doctor. Everybody Lives.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
Alrighty.
All right. One last thing to clear up. He told the Vashta Nerada that they would have their planet back, didn't he?
Yes.
So all the people are going to transport off and they're going to seal it off?
Yes.
They could have made that a little clearer.
Yeah. It's the Vashta Nerada gave him a day to clear everyone out, specifically. So
At 3 people at a time, and there's more than 4,000 of them.
Yeah.
That may take more than a day.
Yeah, well, another tragic companion exit for River Song. Oh, but what did you think? What did you think of her time as a companion on Doctor Who?
Didn't we watch a Matt Smith episode with her in it?
I don't think so.
I may have watched that way back before you and I started doing this when it was playing on PBS here.
Maybe.
I kind of vaguely knew who she was. Didn't know exactly where this all started. My thinking now is, of course, that we know the Doctor has a daughter. We don't know if that daughter that was actually created from him is Susan's mother. Could be, maybe not, probably not. But this makes me wonder if this is the Doctor's spouse.
I mean, but the thing is, he's already lived through all of that. So he's had his wife, he's had his children, he's had his grandchildren. All of that happened with his first incarnation before stealing the TARDIS and leaving with Susan. So all of that has already happened. So anything that happens now is all new stuff. A new daughter that he had just a few episodes ago, and now a new special person in his life who, at this point, he has not met yet. So,
I believe the proper phrase to use here is wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. So, I mean, you could probably take a gander that this is not the last... I mean, technically it is the last time we're seeing River Song, but also technically not the last time we're seeing River Song. So,
she is saved in the core.
Yes.
But why can't she be gotten out like the other people?
Well, she just doesn't have a body.
Oh.
So it's all just her remaining consciousness.
All right.
So.
But if they could find an android to put her into, I suppose.
Something like that.
Or a clone.
Yeah, something like that. So.
Well, I enjoyed it overall. It does strike me as kind of odd, although I guess the Vashta Nerada are going to feed on all the books now. But it seems to me that they would want to tear down the library and let the planet grow back to its original form.
I mean, if anything, I mean, the books... It's not... I don't know. I suppose it's complicated, because they were still born from the books. And they specifically hatched 100 years ago in the books. The problem really just is that there were so many of them. It's too many, an entire planet's worth of books is too many Vashta Nerada. And if anything, they were just they're kind of animals. They're doing what they would normally do. They go and hunt. It's just that they became such a danger to everything. But the Doctor gave them an opportunity. Hey, if you just let us go, then this entire planet is yours, and you can just live peacefully within your, printed forest. So, because it's interesting, I did catch at the beginning of the last episode when the Doctor said all of these books were freshly printed specifically for the library, and I thought, well, that's interesting, because normally when you think of these like giant libraries in fiction, they always have all the ancient stuff, from the past thousands of years cumulatively. But here, he specifically did say everything was newly printed, and that was the problem. That's why it produced so many of the Vashta Nerada. So it's like half a Save the Trees episode and half not. It's a don't get rid of that many trees so quickly.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly an anti-paper, deforestation episode either. So I think it juggles that very well, while also just being that just sort of being in the back of the episode while there's this horror story going on and this whole thing with Donna and then River Song. So it balances a lot of things, which is really good. So
now. And again, this is historical aspect to this. I understand that nowadays we very specifically make paper out of trees. It's wood pulp. But that has not been what people of the earth have done for the past 6,000 years.
Yeah.
It can be made out of cotton. Rag pickers literally 100, 200 years ago collected rags, which were then chopped up and processed and made into paper. Sheepskin has been used. Trees, I understand, because like elephants have this huge gestation period, 25 years to produce an adult tree in most instances. But the Egyptians had papyrus. The papyrus grows up, it would be like making paper out of bamboo, because bamboo can literally grow 3 feet in a single day. So all you have to do is find something that does not take 25 years to replace, some kind of renewable resource, like papyrus, like bamboo, whatever, and you would solve this problem. So, in the future, however long ago this was, just seems very odd that they would destroy huge forests in order to print their books.
I guess the other thing, though, is that the library has not existed that long, just about 100 years, because it was kind of specifically made for Cal. Because she was dying, they, created this computer mainframe in which to save her, and then they were like, well, we need to give her something to do, so they were like, well, let's give her books, and in a rush, deforested an entire planet, or many planets worth of trees, to create a planet's worth of books, thus creating such a vast array of the Vashta Nerada. So that's the thing, your standard public library is not going to have that much, There might be some, not enough to completely, get rid of all the flesh and organs and literally everything off your skeleton in 2 seconds flat. Nowhere has that capability, really, so...
Well, I know, it would seem, again, this is somewhere in the future. By this time, they would also be digitizing books.
Yeah.
Instead of printing. But, it would have made more sense if it were, like we said, that they were trying to collect all these ancient books or copies of ancient books. Because even, like, the Library of Alexandria or the House of Wisdom I can't remember if it was in Baghdad or not. But they would get ancient scrolls and, cuneiform tablets and things like that. But then they would make copies of them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things fall apart. So, I love the premise. Don't get me wrong. I love the entire episode. But, as historians...
Yeah, it's basically that the premise of the episode is not that, well, in the future, obviously everything is bigger in the future, and so there would be just a planet-sized library. It's more of just, this library was created not because someone wanted to make a library and collect all these works, but because it served a very, very specific purpose, which unfortunately had a very, very specific consequence of creating the Vashta Nerada.
Yeah.
So, it's all just a specific thing, instead of there's this incredible library planet where everything, scholars from across the universe have brought, different works here. It's all just a very specific manufactured thing. So,
So I'm guessing you asked me about River Song because is she somewhat controversial in the Who fandom?
I don't think so, really. I mean, she will pop up again, and it's very much, she's very much a creation of Stephen Moffat. So we'll have more and more as we get more and more into the Moffat era. So no, I just thought it was funny because this is technically the end of her story, and watching it again and hearing the things that she says to the Doctor at the end, I was like, well, I understand absolutely everything that she's saying, and it's so fascinating. And the thing is, like, I know that Moffat had a ton of ideas already in place with River Song, and this is basically, it's weird to say that this is almost a backdoor pilot to his era, because it's still the same show anyway, but it really is just like that this is the very first part of what we will get in the Moffat era coming up. But it's interesting because I don't think he had absolutely everything planned with her character, but at the very least he did have the ending planned, because he already did the ending. But he talks about, the things that happened just before she came to the library, meeting the Doctor. She says he had a new haircut and a suit, and they went to this, place called Darillium. And, she says, you must have known that right after that I would head to the library, and that's where I would meet my end. So it is a very interesting thing. This is where the patented Doctor Who flowcharts come into play, because it's going to be really messy because we're not going to now see River's timeline in chronological order. We're going to be jumping all over the place over the next 6 seasons. So
now, does she return in Tennant's era?
No.
All right, so she'll be back with Matt Smith.
Yes.
And if I recall, didn't I may have heard somewhere that she also appears with Capaldi.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think that's really a spoiler. I don't think it really matters. And I will say there is an audio drama series called The Diary of River Song, and they have done everything in their power to make sure that she meets every single previous Doctor ever. There will be stories where it's River Song and the 6th and 7th Doctor hanging out. And from the little bits that I've heard of it, it is, it is a circus trying to make sure that she doesn't tell them who she is, because she already told the 10th Doctor, and he doesn't remember any of it. So it's a whole thing. There are audios where she meets the 4th Doctor. I have heard a clip where she meets the 9th Doctor, and he just does not like her at all. And it is one of those, because you listen to it and it's like, yeah, that is exactly the characterization of the 9th Doctor, that he wouldn't really like her that much, but it's just such an interesting thing. So I haven't heard, though, the full audio dramas of those, so I can't really speak to their quality or anything. And then there'll be other ones where she's hanging out with Captain Jack, after Torchwood ends and stuff like that. So, but it's a convoluted mess in the show, ignoring all the audio dramas, which I guess that's just Doctor Who sometimes. So, but it's definitely a very interesting idea, and especially starting that now, where it's Moffat, I think by this point, obviously, Moffat knew he was preparing for his own era. I don't know if at this point, I don't think they had cast Matt Smith yet. I think it's sometime during the specials after this season that they announce, Tennant is leaving and he will be replaced by Matt Smith. But at this point, I would at least think that Moffat he knows he's probably going to be the next showrunner, and so he's starting to get ideas, and starting these ideas now, still during the RTD era, is an interesting concept. So, and it just helps that this two-parter is really good.
So how long was Moffat in charge?
He was in charge from Matt Smith starts in 2010, and Capaldi ends at the end of 2017. So, about 7 years.
And then Chris Chibnall takes over?
Yes.
And then RTD comes back?
Yes. And it's because of that I am probably getting either gray hairs or no hairs in my head, and the same goes for the rest of the fandom. It has been a tumultuous week in the Doctor Who fandom, I will just say that, and everyone who is currently up to date on Doctor Who knows exactly what I am talking about, so... It's been something. It's been a wild ride, but we'll get to those years from now.
By the way, this morning in my Facebook memories, the Dominators popped up. That's a second Doctor story, and we were doing that only 4 years ago.
Yeah, we honestly, looking back, we really churned through classic Doctor Who. The other thing, I have seen I'll look up some Classic Who reactions. I don't really watch them, but I'll see someone who started a year before we did, and they're in the middle of the 6 Doctors era right now, and I'm just sitting here as whew, you're really stretching it. And mainly just because most stories that were 4 parts or less, we just powered through an entire video. Yeah. I see a lot of Classic Who reactors that are just doing 2 parts per video, so yeah, I can see why that takes so long. So.
And I was telling Alex yesterday, one of my Facebook memories popped up. It was our reaction to the very first episode of the first season of Good Omens, and whereas usually our reactions to Classic Who and now the New Who, we get between 1,000 and 2,000 views. That episode number 1, after 5 years being on YouTube, now has 70,000 views.
Yeah, it's the top viewed video on the channel. that, my reaction to The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I don't know why that popped off as much as that did, but, and then, I think 2 of the others in the top 5 are also Good Omens episodes. But then I noticed that my highest viewed Doctor Who video is you reacting to the 50th anniversary. I don't know why that even surpassed just me reacting to the 50th anniversary, but that's my highest, that's the highest Doctor Who video on the channel, so.
It may have just been because the people who had followed us up to that point knew that I was there in 63 when it first started.
Yeah, maybe. So, but yeah, the first episode of Good Omens. I mean, that's the thing. That first season of Good Omens was really, really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
When is the last 90-minute special coming out?
I have no idea. I don't think they've started filming it, even. I think they are desperately scrambling to write something that's a conclusion. I mean, I'm amazed they didn't just cancel it outright but I mean, it must just be such a popular series that they're like, well, we got to do something, but that's a rough situation. You know what? That's probably way more rough a situation than Doctor Who has right now. Doctor Who, it's just some problems with the writing. That's really just it. And while Good Omens Season 2 had problems with its writing, it doesn't have the problems that Good Omens has with its main writer right now. So I'll at least give Doctor Who that credit. But yeah, does this give you any ideas of what you might be seeing in the Moffat era?
Well, obviously, the writing is very solid.
Yeah.
You know, I suspect that the average viewer, who, again, does not do it religiously like we do here, might not have noticed that. And again, they're not inconsistencies. They're just, little nagging questions that people with a history background might go, wait a minute, just one question here. Donald, is it Donald Moffat? What's his name?
Stephen Moffat.
Stephen Moffat. Who's Donald Moffat? I must know Donald Moffat from somewhere.
I don't know.
Anyway, so, that's just us. That's what we do.
Yeah, but I mean, it sort of lends to the mystery, because you hear some of those at the beginning and you're like, wait a minute, they printed brand new books for this library. Like, well, why would they do that? And it's like, they did that because they were in a rush, and that's exactly the problem, is that created such a high density of the Vashta Nerada. So,
by the way, there was another little, don't know what you would call it, just a hint that the family who created this was named Lux. Isn't that the Latin word for light? So it's kind of ironic that the creatures that feed in the shadows are in a library created by the family of light.
Yeah. So, but honestly, probably a good preview for the upcoming Moffat era. The Moffat era is where things will start getting controversial, which not even like actual controversies. It's just it's when, I mean, at the very least, it's going to start immediately when we start getting into the "not my doctor," because that's people have been saying that for years now. Nobody really said that after Eccleston left, which is also a shame, because Eccleston was great in the role. But it's a thing of like, Eccleston regenerated so early that everyone was like, okay, now we can move on to Tennant. And Tennant lasted about 4 years, and there were a lot of people when Tennant leaves who say, no, I'm good. Don't need anything else. That was my doctor. I don't need another one. And that will continue forever and ever and ever. And I still see comments about it to this day. I probably got a comment this morning about like, I don't really like this person as the doctor, and it's like, that will just continue on forever, and it will drive me insane. So,
well, take it from somebody who was there with the first doctor. I've always said, whenever we've ranked the doctors, William Hartnell is still number one for me because he was the original doctor. But we have now gone through 10 doctors, and every one of them, I don't say that's not my doctor. I just say that is the doctor, because each one of them has built their own personality, their own reputation, their own timeline, if you will. And there's no point to me in somebody saying, well, that's not my doctor. Of course it is. You know, that's the whole point of Doctor Who.
You have your favorite, obviously. So for you, it's William Hartnell. Of all of them, I would probably... I think I would put Capaldi up there as probably my favorite. But even still, like, Tennant is up there, Matt Smith is up there, Eccleston is probably above them, even, because he was really good. But even still, it's like, going through, it's like, no, they're all the Doctor. They all are valid. All of them are
even the
valid.
ones we don't really care for.
Yeah.
And because Colin Baker, and again, I don't think that was so much his fault.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with him.
They didn't know what to do with him.
They had an idea and had no idea how to execute that, and they wrote scripts, and Colin Baker was like, okay, I will do the best I can with this, and from what I hear, he's really, really great in Big Finish. I mean, we listened to the Holy Terror.
If I can take 2 minutes here, just to let you know, most of you have probably seen a Shakespearean play. I would hope that most of you have seen Twelfth Night. I've had the privilege of being in Twelfth Night twice. The first time as Sir Toby Belch, wonderful comic role. The second time, I really, really wanted to play Malvolio, and I got cast. But, you know, I'm over 6 feet tall, 245 pounds. Nearly every other person in the cast was probably 5'6", 5'7". So here I am. I'm just literally towering over these people. They dressed me in a black outfit, black tunic, trimmed in purple. So, I mean, I was just this monster over everyone else. And after about a week of rehearsal, the director came up to me and said, you can't be this scary. Malvolio, you know, he's in charge, and yes, he's mean, but you cannot be scary like this. And so, I mean, it kept evolving to the point where ultimately, and for those of you who've seen The Goodbye Girl, I ended up playing Malvolio like a double dip of fresh California fruit salad. So in the scene where he comes out and he disrupts Sir Toby and all the revelers, he has the line, "My masters, are you mad, or what are you, you know, and making noise at this time of night?" By the time we got into performances, I was like, "My masters, are you mad, or what are you?" Just this incredibly uptight, high, almost squeaky voice, doing everything I could not to be so incredibly monstrous about it. And of course the audience loved it, but I was just going, my one chance to play Malvolio, and I'm playing him like California fruit salad.
Yeah, so but it's funny because honestly, even this episode kind of goes into that not my doctor a bit, because River Song is looking at the doctor and it's just like, I know you're the doctor, but you don't know who I am. You don't trust me. There's nothing there. And so she's really struggling. It's, you know, she misses the doctor, even though he's right there. And if anything, they're kind of both looking through each other for someone that's not there. And the only thing that works is her whispering his own name into his ear to get him to trust her. So who is River Song that she knows the doctor's actual name? So what could that name be? It's probably like Ted or something. So it's just something simple. Nobody ever thinks of it. So,
but again, that's a thing that I don't want to say they stole it from Star Trek, but in Star Trek, at one point when Spock is infected with some kind of spores, where he loses all of his, you know, Vulcan stoicness, this girl who falls in love with him says, "You've never even told me your name." And he just looks at her, and almost with a tear in his eyes, and just says, "You couldn't pronounce it." So yeah. That's why nobody ever calls him anything but the doctor, because his name is probably something that the average person simply, their mind would not be able to do it.
Yeah, so that's why they all go by, you know, the doctor, the master, the Ronnie. It's just pick a name, it'll work out. So
the only one who's actually named, though, no, two of them, Barusa, Rassilon, and Omega. And well, because they even joke about that with Romana, where Romana had like a longer name, and then they were just like, let's shorten that to Romana, and that'll work better. And she's like, oh well, fine, if you must insist on calling me that. So
So yeah, every Time Lord has some sort of strange name. So, yeah. You got anything else?
I got nothing. Although, who was the mechanic? Did he have a name? The Fourth Doctor when he met the mechanic?
It was like Drax or something.
Yeah.
It was just something simple like that. So, he's the lower end Time Lord society. He probably wasn't even Time Lord. He was just Gallifreyan, really. So,
and somebody, and if it wasn't him, called the Doctor another Greek letter.
It was Theta Sigma.
Theta Sigma. Yeah.
But I think they kind of gloss over that was like his nickname in college at the academy. So, and he's part of some fraternity, like the Praetorian chapter or something.
Too bad
like
it wasn't Theta Delta, because that would be the Doctor, TD.
So,
oh well. With all that being said,
the next time around we've got Midnight, another really big fan favorite episode, which I've really been looking forward to rewatching because I did not really care for it the first time around. However, I have seen the arguments about why it is good, and I do understand it more. But you'll see what I'm talking about in 2 weeks when we watch that. Except for you guys, it'll be next week. It's this whole thing of when we're recording and when these are uploading. It's all it's this big gobbledygook of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. So, but with all of that being said, we're Alex and Dad from Seventh Hour Films. We never said our names at the beginning, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our modern Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist with every Doctor Who reaction that's on the channel. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.